The seventh process of the Build, Acquire and Implement domain, called Manage Change Acceptance and Transitioning, has 8 practices. The second practice is to plan business process and data conversion. From a RACI charts perspective, the entities that are responsible include the business process owners, the Chief Risk Officer, and the Chief Information Officer. The entity that is held accountable is the Program Steering Committee. The practice receives no inputs, but generates one output, which is the migration plan to be used by the DSS6 process. The activities involved in this practice include defining a business process and infrastructure migration plan, which covers operating systems, hardware, networks, software, data, backups, interfaces, documentation, and compliance requirements. The needed procedure changes should be considered, including the affected roles and responsibilities. Data conversion methods and data collection and verification should be incorporated into the plan. Any changes made to the data should be avoided unless the business demands, and all changes should be documented. The conversion should be tested before applying it to real data, and the timing of the conversion cutover should be simplified. All the data and related systems should be backed up prior to the conversion. Any risks associated with the data conversion and the migration plan should be addressed. The third practice is to plan acceptance tests. The entities that are responsible include the business process owners, the head of IT development, and the information security manager. The entity that is held accountable is the business executives. The practice receives several inputs that include the requirements for deliverables verification from the BAI9 process, the test plan from the BAI3 process, and the test result logs from the BAI3 process. The practice generates one output, which is the approved acceptance test plan to be used by the BAI1 process. The activities involved in this practice include developing the test plan and aligning it to the program quality plan. The test plan should cover all the functional and technical requirements, and should reflect a risk assessment showing the risk of system failures. The testing process should be accredited internally and externally, and this should be addressed in the plan. The plan should state the resources required for the testing, such as the required staff and test environment requirements. The plan should define the testing phases that will take place, such as system testing, user acceptance testing, integration testing, data conversion testing, and security testing. The testing preparations should be mentioned in the plan, such as the environment preparation and training requirements. The test plan should define clear criteria for measuring the success of the testing phases. All test plans should be approved by the relevant stakeholders. The fourth practice is to establish a test environment. The entities responsible include the business process owners, the head of IT development, and the information security manager. The practice receives no inputs, but it generates one output, which is the test data to be used internally. The activities involved in this practice include creating a database of test data that will be used from the production environment. This data should be protected against disclosure, and the test results should be properly stored or disposed of after the testing has been done. The test environment should reflect future business operations, and it should be totally separated from the production environment. The fifth practice is to perform acceptance tests. The entities that are responsible include the business process owners, the head of IT development, and the head of IT operations. The entity that is held accountable is the business executives. The practice receives no inputs, but generates 3 outputs, which are the test results log to be used internally, the evaluation of acceptance results, and the approved release for production, both to be used by the BAI1 process. The activities involved in this practice include categorizing and reviewing the errors obtained from the testing and ensuring that they have been remediated. The tests should be conducted according to the testing plan, and the test results should be assessed by independent parties. The final acceptance of the results against the defined criteria should be evaluated, and it should be presented to the business owners. Finally, the approval should be formally granted, prior to the transition to production.